Home plate umpire tonight is Tom Hallian. Damian Beal, Scott Berry, Phil Cuzzy, and Dickerson, who's very quick, and wisely, Scott Richmond lets it roll foul. Very quick out of the box, left-handed batter, and tried to lay one down right away.
Yeah, the Reds are a team that do not hit a lot of home runs. Remember the last time we saw Cincinnati, they were really built on power with Adam Dunn and Ken Griffey Jr., Edwin Encarnacion, under the tutelage of that man right there, Dusty Baker. A little bit different type of team this year. They are in the middle of the pack in home runs in the National League, but they're towards the bottom in runs scored, so they have to manufacture runs a little bit differently. A lot more speed now this year for the Reds than we saw last year.
Two balls and a strike. Straight up in the air. Marco Scutaro without number one.
Well, with Scott Richmond on the mound, he's going to get a lot of balls in play, so you've got to catch it. The Jays have played errorless ball for 6 straight games now. Marco Scutaro, one of the finer fielding players in the American League, just 1 error. Here's how they will line up the outfield. It'll be Adam Lind in left field, Vernon Wells and Rios in the outfield, Scutaro rolling on the left side, Hill and Overbay on the right side, Barajas behind the plate, the veteran. The outfield combined between the 3 of them, just 2 errors all season long, to go along with 7 outfield assists, which is pretty good.
Jerry Hairston Jr., 3rd generation player. Five for 16 over his last 5 games.
Yeah, he's been the kind of the jack of all trades kind of guy for Dusty Baker this year. He's played some games in center field and right field, left field, shortstop, some at 3rd and 2nd, but now with the injury to Alex Gonzalez, who just went under the knife the other day, and he's going to be lost for 4 to 6 weeks. Hairston takes over at shortstop full time.
Flies it out to Alex Rios on the run, gathers it in. Last time Joey Votto was in Toronto, he was wearing Canada colors. Talked with him before tonight's game about how excited he was during that World Baseball Classic, especially after that first game with the United States. And of course, the disappointing loss to Italy here. Votto and Scott Richmond were teammates. Richmond comes right at him. There they are, wearing the Canadian colors. Richmond from North Vancouver and Joey Votto from the Etobicoke area in Toronto.
And you know, if you know athletes, you know there's a little bit of pride right now. Who's better than who? That first fastball from Scott Richmond looked like he reached back for just a little bit more to try and get it by Joey Votto. So some bragging rights on the line right here.
Votto, a rookie last year, remember, came into Toronto for the first time back at home. Went 1 for 11 in that series. Now 2 for 15 lifetime against Toronto. 2-1. Richmond tries to flirt downstairs. 3 balls and a strike.
That's where he needs to live. That's where he stayed against Philadelphia. And he was rewarded with an outstanding effort in his last start.
And down the pipe. Coming off the disabled list. Reinstated for this series. Big part of this Reds team. The 3-2. And ball outside. You heard Tom Hallian. Richmond loses his Canadian teammate. You don't hear too many umpires scream out the balls.
3-2. It looked like he tried to sink a little bit of a fastball, but Votto's got a great idea at the plate, doesn't he? Lays off a pretty tough pitch.
And the dangerous Brandon Phillips, Gold Glove winning second baseman last year in the National League. First pitch swinging. Lyle Overbay called for it, but Aaron Hill then calls him off. And only the walk given up to Joey Votto. Nothing for the Reds in the first inning. Marco Scutaro to lead off when we come back to the
to allow at least 10 earned runs while retiring 3 batters or fewer. But since then, he has been outstanding. There are the numbers for Bronson Arroyo, who was great in his last start also. Gave up just 2 runs on 2 hits over 6 1/3 innings, striking out 7 as the Reds beat the White Sox 4-3. According to his manager, Dusty Baker, in that game, he said it was an excellent performance, masterful by Bronson Arroyo. Good fastball, good sinker, but mostly he had good location in that game.
Coincidentally, 1 year to the day, Bronson Arroyo starts in Toronto. I'm sure trying not to relive that nightmare.
Sure, trying to redeem himself. He's also lost 4 straight games to the Blue Jays. The start before that, he also gave up 7 earned runs against Toronto back in 2005 when he was a member of the Boston Red Sox. But if you look at the numbers from that start, and that was probably the lowest point in Bronson Arroyo's career. Since that start 1 year ago today, Bronson is 19-9. The 19 wins are the second most in the major leagues behind guess who? Roy Halladay. So he has been outstanding since that day here at the Rogers Center a year ago.
2 strikes to Marco Scutaro. Who was the Jerry Hairston Jr. of the Blue Jays a year ago. Played everywhere, and now the shortstop and the leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays.
And because of injuries last year for the Blue Jays, remember Marco started as the opening day third baseman. Just got rolling on the DL. Aaron Hill went on the DL because of his concussion, so he played some second base. Cito Gaston saw something in him when he took over just about a year ago also, and he's made him an everyday guy, and he's been great.
Cito Gaston shows faith and loyalty in a lot of players, and often it is rewarded. Scutaro doing that this year. Arroyo tries to bust him inside, evens the count. This is what Marco Scutaro does.
Yeah, he sees lots of pitches. He makes that pitcher work. It's a help for him, but it's also a help for the number 2 and the number 3 hitter in the Blue Jay lineup. They're sitting there watching Arroyo. What does he go to here with 2 strikes?
And does not melt when he gets behind in the count. Works from behind to ahead, Marco Scutaro does. The 3-2. And takes the walk. Scutaro, second in the majors in reaching base safely by a hit, walk, or hit by pitch. 136 times now this season.
Good start for the Blue Jays. Here's the scatter report for Bronson Arroyo. His fastball is average. It'll top around 90 miles an hour. He's got 2 types of curveballs. The sweeping curveball that he'll throw to the right-handers and the tighter one that he'll throw to the lefties. And he's been an Ironman for the Cincinnati Reds. 200-plus innings each of the last 4 seasons. So he's a guy that you can count on, a guy who's going to eat up a lot of innings for you.
Aaron Hill clobbers this pitch way back and gone! Bronson Arroyo hates this place.
Home run number 16 for Aaron Hill. It's also the 16th home run given up by Bronson Arroyo, and it looked like a hanging breaking ball. That one just kind of sweeping over the middle of the plate, right in the wheelhouse of Aaron Hill, who is a very aggressive number 2 hitter. And really, there's no doubt about that one, Blackie. Gone into the stands in left field.
This couldn't happen again a year to the day, could it? Vernon Wells.
Oh, boy.
Lets one fly. Goodbye. You've got to be joking. They are teeing off.
We've talked about it. This one right down Broadway. Hernandez wants the ball away. And that one lands in the stands also. Wow.
They are teeing off like they did last year. Now cleanup hitter Scott Rowland doesn't go after the first pitch. A year ago to this day, Marco Scutaro led off. Joe Inglet followed. Alex Rios. The first 3 batters also scored last year. Scott Rowland hit a first inning home run. So too did Greg Zahn. And Rowland stings one up the middle. And the hit streak continues.
What is Dusty Baker thinking about right now? 13 in a row now for Scott Rowland with that base hit to center field. Arroyo has had his problems in the first inning. Nothing like this. But he has allowed at least a run in the first inning of 17 of his 14 starts, including 5 of his last 6 starts. Not a hole you want to dig yourself into.
Here's Adam Lind. 307 with 14 home runs and 50 RBIs. Nobody out. 3 runs across already. 2 home runs. And we've only just begun. Arroyo will go to that almost sidearm delivery.
Yeah, he's got to try something because right now he is fooling nobody. The pitches do not look like they have any life on it. Blue Jay batters are seeing it obviously out of his hand nicely. He's going to have to start changing speeds maybe get a little bit more deception.
Hitters count here. Lind tees off and to the wall and gone. Oh man! Do you believe in karma?
I was looking back at the numbers. Bronson Arroyo. Okay, maybe last year when he gave up those 6 runs in the first inning, maybe that was an anomaly, all right? So we go back to start before that, he gave up 7 earned runs in 3 innings. This is home run number 3 in the first inning. Lind with number 15. And like that, just like that, the first 5 batters of the inning have scored.
Bronson Arroyo, a year ago, gave up 6 in the first inning. Shortest outing of his career. He might not last the first inning here.
Look how hot the Blue Jay bats have been since June the 5th. First in home runs with 29. Runs a game, they're averaging just over 5 runs a game. And that is up to date right there. 29 home runs since June the 5th.
Now Alex Rios. 5-0 Jays. 3 home runs. And the Phillies have not recorded an out yet. Line foul, and they are seeing everything. The last time the Blue Jays had 3 home runs in 1 inning, Alex Rios was involved with Vernon Wells and Matt Stairs back on May 20th, 2007. A roller here, and Hairston gets the first out. Bronson Arroyo's maybe starting to see his heart not palpitate as much as it has been here.
He's not liking Toronto at all.
No. Here comes Lyle Overbay. Arroyo trying to settle down that high leg kick, and again comes sort of sidearm, 3/4. Last night the Blue Jays got off to a 6-0 start.
Brian Talent was cruising. Bullpen made it interesting, but they came away with the win. There are the numbers in 10 starts for Bronson Arroyo. You know, I think one of the things he can do, Rod, right now is maybe throw inside just a little bit more. I haven't seen one pitch go to the inner half of the plate to any one of these batters, just so he can establish something like that. Just put something else in the minds of the Blue Jay batter. Maybe throw something in there. Maybe they back off the plate a little bit to open up the outside. Just something different. Everything right now is right in the lane, the middle lane of the plate.
That Reds dugout is saying, stop the insanity here. Man. Balls and 2 strikes. Right back to Arroyo for the second out.
Bronson has been good. He's got 8 victories this year, which is 1 off the lead in the National League. He's had his ups and downs this year, but when you come in with 8 victories, you must be doing something right. Blue Jay batters just see him. He just has not made quality pitches. That last start against the White Sox, he had great location in that game, giving up just a couple of hits, pitching into the 7th inning.
Rod Barajas last night, his 7th home run of the season in the 7-5 victory. Arroyo appears to be settling down after another outlandish start. Pulled into the seats. Blue Jays just didn't pelt Arroyo last year. They got to everybody in that game against the Reds a year ago today. 14-1. And they are off to a flying start here tonight. 5-0.
There's a good pitch. That's the first pitch this inning that we have seen on the inner half to any one of these batters. And you see how Rob Barajas was really taken back by it. Kind of a emergency hack right here. Tells me that these guys are really staying in there looking for that ball out over the plate.
Two. Hairston again. Arroyo goes 1-2-3 after the Blue Jays went 1-2-3 with home runs. Aaron Hill, followed by Vernon Wells. You and I chatted before the game about this stuff we've been hearing about Bronson Arroyo, and he's been hearing, and it's almost bulletin board material saying a year to the day you're back on the hill. And, you know, we kind of thought you can't be that bad again.
You don't see that in baseball, you know? Something like that. It's not a game where it's like boom, 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 this is what's going to happen. I can't believe what I just saw there in the first inning.
It happened. Here's Lance Nix now. The Reds try to answer as they did a year ago when they were down 6-0 when Bronson Arroyo actually left the ball game shortly thereafter. 5-0 here tonight. Scott Richmond gets some valuable support early in this ball game.
So you know what it allows him to do now? Just settle down, just throw strikes. You could challenge him on the first pitch, get ahead, strike one, and then try and finish him off. No need to nitpick where every single pitch is important. Get out there, throw strikes, get your team back in there, start swinging that wood again.
Two, got him chasing there.
It's almost like a batter who's gotten a couple of hits his first time up, and all the pressure seems to be gone. You say, hey, whatever happens the rest of the way, I've had a good game so far. You can relax, and all of a sudden you start, boom, next time up you get another hit, then another hit. Same thing can happen right here for Scott Richmond. He's up 5-0 already in the first inning. He can go out there and pound that strike zone, and before you know it, it'll be the 6th or 7th inning. Got a good chance of coming away with a W.
Richmond has been successful. He's been able to spot his fastball, and that curveball has been working.
It's been working, and he doesn't necessarily have to throw it for a strike, especially when he's ahead 2 strikes. He can expand the strike zone. He did it against the Philadelphia Phillies, getting the Phillies to chase after that ball, and that's how he picked up a lot of those strikeouts.
Hard to believe a year ago Scott Richmond wasn't even on the Blue Jays' radar for about another month. He was in the minors, a year removed from independent league baseball, the Edmonton Cracker Cats. Scudero over to Overbay, out number 1 here in the top half of the second, and Scott Richmond's manager knows that a year removed from the kid's first start late in July, he's become a valuable member of the Blue Jays.
Well, you know what? He's been a great kid on this club. You know, he's gone wherever we need him at the time. And, of course, I see him as a starter myself. But once in a while, you know, by him being the 5th starter, he has been in that role. But, you know, you run him to the bullpen. He sucked up a loss for us the other day in Washington, which I told him I appreciate that, you know, that he was available to even pitch and help us out because my bullpen was so worn out that we didn't have anyone else. But I don't want to make it sound like we didn't have anyone else, so we used him. But he was available and did a good job for us.
This coming off of 8 innings, 11 strikeouts against the Phillies. They go to Washington. 3 days later, that was on Saturday, they needed some help in that bullpen as they went to extra innings. And when Cito talks about sucking up the loss, in that game he threw an inning and gave up a home run, a walk-off home run. I believe it was to Willie Harris in that ball game. You let Scott Richmond, he can start for you. He can pitch in the bullpen and couple of different outfits out there. He can be a long man. He can be a 7th inning guy. The most important thing that he does is he throws strikes. And I think that's the one thing that Cito Gaston is really happy about.
Count is even now to Johnny Gomes. Jay Bruce on deck. Hit hard and back to the wall. It goes, and it goes over the wall. Johnny Gomes answers. Guy who's played here a lot as a Tampa Bay Ray. Gomes with his 3rd homer of the season, and the Reds are on the board.
First big league home run was here. And his 3rd this season right here. 2-strike breaking ball in the middle of the plate. It shows you how strong Gomes is. It looked like he kind of one-handed that ball. Fooled a little bit, but he muscles it into the bullpen for the Reds' first run. First major league home run was against Ted Lilly here back in 2005.
Jay Bruce now. There's a guy who's hit 17 round trippers this year. Ramon Hernandez after him, 1 away, and it's 5-1 Blue Jays. The ball appears to be jumping tonight in this hot weather.
Yeah, it always does, huh? When they open up the lid here, it starts to get warm. The ball seems to really carry. Jay Bruce has not had a whole lot of success in interleague play over the last few years. Among all players with at least 80 at-bats in interleague play, he's hitting about 150. Hit a double in last night's game that looked for a while was going to be a big hit for the Red.
Hop over to Aaron Hill. Easy play for him. There's out number 2. Ramon Hernandez taking his time. Get to the plate. Don't worry. We're not on the clock here. 5 home runs and 28 RBIs.
I think he wants to just give his starting pitcher a little bit more time to catch his breath after that first inning.
Fouled away by Hernandez. Former Baltimore Oriole, acquired for Ryan Friel.
Did you see where that ball hit up Rod Barajas there? Did it hit him in the knee or the foot? Wherever it did, it really stung him for a little bit.
Hernandez won't nibble at that. Nor that. Three-two. Fouled away again. Barajas couldn't hang on.
Well, the location has been good. I think the last 3 pitches from Scott Richmond to Hernandez. A right-hander who likes the ball out in front, who likes to get the head out and try to pull everything. So you want to try and keep the ball away from him. Fastball away, curveball away, and a little slider away. Here's another fastball, and he can't get around on it.
Treading back, Vernon Wells over the shoulder. Just one mistake. Johnny Gomes. 3rd home run. Night out section receive a pink Blue Jays cap. One lucky fan will win the opportunity to throw out the first pitch and sit in the TD Canada Trust Comfort Zone. Call 416-341-1304. It's ladies' night tomorrow night. So far early tonight, it's been Blue Jays offense that's gone to work. Russ Adams, the number 9 hitter, here in the top half of the second inning. 8 Blue Jays up in the first and 5 runs across, including 3 home runs. 27th time in history they've had 3 home run inning. Let's see how Bronson Arroyo does.
The Reds pitchers must be thinking, what do we need to do to get some of these Reds batters out? Jays have averaged about 8 runs a game versus the Reds in their last 7 games, and as a team hitting over .330 against Cincinnati pitching.
Oh, nice play. Joey Votto over to Bronson Arroyo.
Another ball hit hard, but to the glove side of the first baseman, Joey Votto. Stays down right on that one. Ball hooking off the bat of Russ Adams, but if you stay down, field it off to the side, because I think you can see it faster and your hands are a little bit quicker. You field off the side, snatches it, and takes away extra bases from Russ Adams.
Could always hit Joey Votto since he's been a kid. He mostly had to work on his defense, and he's worked tirelessly on it.
Yeah,
gotten much better.
I remember when he first came up, they were talking about that back home, that, you know, is he ever going to be a big league fielding first baseman? Absolutely. If you watch him and you see his athleticism, fielding is all done with your feet, I think, and he's got very good feet around first base, and he's got good hands.
Marco Scutaro, who walked in the first inning and scored on the 2-run home run from Aaron Hill. With the numbers over the last week.
Got that average just under 300, and it's going to be over it now.
Gets it over Votto to the corner. Scutaro will scamper into second easily. Jay Bruce making a play in right field. He leads majors in outfield assists
with 8 of them. And if he could have come up with this one, he would have had them. Here's how they will line up defensively for Dusty Baker. In the outfield will be Lance Nix. Dickerson in center field, and there's Jay Bruce with his 8 assists in right field. Danny Richard with his first start at third base this season. He'll be joined by Jerry Hairston, Phillips, and Votto in the infield, and Ramon Hernandez, the veteran, behind the dish. How about plate coverage right there for Marco Scutaro? You want the definition of a guy who can cover the outside part of the plate. That double by Scutaro, reaching out and just poking it over Votto down into the right field corner.
Aaron Hill, about 20 minutes or so ago, hit one out. This is what Scutaro did.
Here is, watch where the pitch is. Right on the outside corner with kind of a half swing. A good 2-strike approach right there by Scutaro. He is rewarded with extra bases.
Taps it right back to Arroyo for the second out here.
You were talking about that home run by Aaron Hill. For about 3 or 4 minutes, he had tied Adam Lynn for the team lead in RBIs with 50. That 2-run home run. So now he is the second Blue Jay to reach 50 RBIs before the All-Star break. Having just a great year.
Vernon Wells hit his 7th home run back in the first inning. 33 RBIs on the season now for him. Last time the Blue Jays went back-to-back, back on May 5th against Cleveland.
The trick turn by Lyndon Rowland in the 7th inning.
Throw down to Brandon Phillips, who has been having some ongoing conversation with Marco Scutaro at second base.
There hasn't been a player Brandon Phillips hasn't talked to at second base. He just loves to play the game of baseball.
Scudero was doing up his lace. Arroyo was ready to throw, and Vernon Wells noticed that Scudero wasn't leading off at second and called time. And off of Vernon Wells' foot.
Yeah, that one's going to hurt a little bit. 2-0 pitch. Wells was ready for a fastball, but Arroyo turned one over. And those are the kind that you hit right off of your shin or right off of your foot. Oh, that one's right off the shin. No protection there for Vernon Wells, and watch where this one hits.
Ooh.
That's going to leave a mark.
That's why so many guys wear those guards right there.
I bet you will see Vernon Wells his next time up with it on.
Now through the grimacing. Two balls and a strike, 2 out. Scudero at second. Wells still limping around the batter's box. Did he go? No. Down the line. Damian Beal.
I think that's what you do as a pitcher when you see a guy foul a ball off of a shin like that. Go right back in there. Believe me, you're afraid to swing the bat because you might foul it off again of your front foot.
Boy, that was close. Now the 3-2. Fouled away again. Have you seen signs of, obviously tonight we have a Vernon Wells starting to turn what has been an awfully long corner in this season?
Well, that first at bat when he homered, it looked like he was ready and he got that front foot down. Cedar Gaston talks at length about hitters being ready to hit. And all that means is getting your trigger going and getting that front foot down and ready to turn on anything.
And that will score Scudero down the line. 2 bases for a limping Vernon Wells. And indeed, he is starting to turn the corner. 8-game hit streak now. 13 for his last 36.
That'll make that left shin feel a lot better. His second RBI of the night. 3-2 pitch, and he goes and gets it. Look how quick he gets through that strike zone with that bat right by Richard down the left field line. And he knows he can just cruise right into second base with a stand-up double.
Scott Rowland kept his hit streak going, now at 13 games. Back in the first inning with a base hit.
And now up over 360 in his career versus Bronson Arroyo with a couple of home runs.
Again, rolling into the cleanup position. Good numbers in interleague play and has seen a lot of those National League pitchers through the years.
It certainly helps when you've faced a guy before. You have a pretty good idea of what they want to try and do to get you out. You see the spin of the breaking ball. I think that's why he's had good numbers against Arroyo in his career.
Second in the American League batting average before tonight as well. Only Ichiro ahead of him. Ichiro batting .359. Rowland began the night .332, now .335.
And another good hitting account right here for the Blue Jays. 3-1.
Hairston. And there's out number 3. Vernon Wells, couple of RBIs tonight. The Blue Jays restore a 5-run lead at 6-1. Back on TSN, Reds and Jays, 7 o'clock Eastern, back in high definition. And the lefty, Brett Cecil, will pitch for the Blue Jays.
He'll be opposed by Johnny Cueto, a good young right-hander for Cincinnati. There's Brett Cecil, who will get the start, his second since coming up, back up from the minor leagues.
Danny Richard now, number 9 hitter. First pitch, Scott Rowland under it. Blue Jays pitching staff really has been vaporized by injury. Almost unfathomable how many injuries could happen to a starting rotation. It's affected the bullpen. It's affected everyone. It's almost remarkable that the Blue Jays are where they are, putting a pitching staff together with duct tape.
And it showed some depth that the Blue Jays have in their farm system. And I think it says a lot about Blue Jays pitching coach Brad Arnsberg and the job that he has done with a lot of these young pitchers. 6 games over 500 with their 5 starters out. Pretty impressive. They did get some good news last night with Roy Halladay.
Pitching on the side last night. And one more time, I believe, on Friday. And if everything's a go, he will be a go on Monday. That is good news. Richmond ahead of Chris Dickerson. Led off the game by hopping out to Marco Scutaro. Like the start in his last start, Scott Richmond seems to be mixing and matching a lot here tonight.
Well, I think a lot of the credit goes to Rod Barajas. Very underrated part of Rod's game is his game calling behind the dish. He's got a good feel for the opposition. And I think Roy Halladay was talking about him a couple of starts ago for him, saying that he'll be very creative back there, and he'll feel what the pitcher is working for him as Dickerson walks. He'll get a good feel of what's working for him, and then finding the weaknesses of the batter and then attacking them.
There's Doc. Brian Tallett, pitching coach Brad Arnsberg.
One of the things that was working for Tallett last night was a good changeup, and Barajas kept going to it. You didn't see Brian Tallett shake him off very often. I thought I counted about 4 or 5 straight changeup at one point in that game yesterday. Heck, if they're going to keep swinging at it, might as well keep throwing it. Good outing last night for Brian Tallett.
Seems every year there's someone who steps up that you might have thought would be least expected to do so, given another role. Brian Tallett is one of those guys this year. Jerry Hairston with Dickerson at first, and 1 out. This was Roy Halladay yesterday working out.
Yeah, he did some stretches, and he got out there. He actually did some running, and we got to see him throw off the mound. It's still not the same as covering first base, or if somebody bunts on you, getting out there, catching the ball, planting and throwing to first base. But it's a great sign to see him throwing on the mound.
That's the thing. Once you get into game action, and you're always stretching, putting yourself in a vulnerable position, especially that groin, which he has strained, the right groin.
Yeah, you can throw some simulated games, and you can throw all you want off of a mound in a bullpen. It's just not the same as live action in a game.
Trying to keep Dickerson close. Taking a peek again and then coming to the plate up high.
Boy, those are close pitches to take with 2 strikes. Dickerson took a couple. Now Hairston takes a borderline pitch. That's ball 2.
Ooh, fouled that away.
You know, we were just talking about rehab starts for different players, and I actually asked Cito Gaston before the game tonight. I said, Cito, what about Roy Halladay? Any thought of him maybe going on a rehab?
You know, players. It's up to players. They still have that rule that if they want to go, they go. If they don't want to go, they don't have to go. But I think Doc's a guy that you take it from him that he feels like he can go. I think we probably might have to watch his pitch count. But if Doc says he can go, then you let Doc go.
Fouled away again.
And he means go back to the mound here at the big league, not going down to the minor leagues if he feels like it. I like that. If player feels like they are ready to contribute at the big league level, you don't need to go down there, especially a veteran. Well, we'll see how it plays out.
Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dickerson with a lead, doesn't go. Barajas gets away from him. Dickerson now rounding second quickly, was thinking about third, but Barajas alertly comes up with a baseball. And a wild pitch.
Curveball from Richmond. That's an easy read right there for Dickerson.
Broken bat, and a little looper will score a run and make it 6-2. Jerry Hairston, good at bat, 21st RBI of the season.
Yeah, very good at bat by the veteran Hairston. Hitting over 300 in his last few ball games, fighting off some tough pitches, and then this fastball down and away, and he hits it off the end of the bat, but gets enough of it, breaks his bat, and just dumps it in front of Adam Lynn for an RBI single. And the Reds get the bat right back the run they gave up last inning.
Lead is 4. Hairston at first. And Joey Votto, who walked first inning. Baseball being a game of numbers, you don't want to flirt too much with the guy coming back to his hometown. He's not had a good average here at Rogers Center, but you don't want him to bust out here.
Yeah, don't let him get too comfortable, especially with guys on base. You see those great numbers. 8 home runs, 33 driven in, and just 130 at bats.
2 strikes. Canadian teammate to Canadian teammate from the World Baseball Classic. Again, still 1 away. Hairston dives back. He has 7 stolen bases on the season. Dickerson's lead. He had a foot off onto the field turf.
Yeah, even though they're down by 4 runs, I don't think they're going to stop running, because that's such a big part of their game. Aggressiveness on the bases, take the extra bases, steal when you can. The Reds have stolen at least 1 base in each of their last 7 games. That's their longest streak since they had 10 in 2002. So it's a big part of their game, and just because you're down, I don't think you're going to see them pull up and slow down what they do best.
Hairston will creep that foot, 1 foot again. There it is onto the turf. Inside, it gets away from Barajas again. And once again, will the Reds make Richmond pay?
You know, what hurts about that is it takes the double play out. Another wild pitch, curveball that he holds on to just a little bit too long here. He bounces it in front of Barajas, who slides over there, does everything right, but it just ricochets off his arm into the backstop. It worked out nicely for the Reds last time with Hairston's single to score a run.
And Votto goes down on strikes.
First strikeout of the night for Scott Richmond. It comes against a good hitter with a runner in scoring position. Watch how his breaking ball has the ability to get off the hitting plate. A lot of times you don't want to throw that curveball down and into left-handers because they can really hammer it. But if you've got that late break like you see right there from Richmond, it's a good pitch against the lefty.
Hairston still in scoring position now with 2 away, and Brandon Phillips popped out to Aaron Hill back in the first. Two years ago, a 30-30 man. Last year, 21 home runs, 78 RBIs. Numbers and production dropped off. Very, very quick bat.
He got a quick bat, and he's got a good idea of the strike zone. If you try and slip one by him on the outer half with 2 strikes, he has that ability, and his hands are so strong that he can just flick the ball down the right field line. And if you make a mistake on the inner half like they did the last homestand, he can drive that ball to left field.
Talked about that elite 30-30 club, 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. Phillips did it back in 2007. Became only the second baseman in Major League history to accomplish that. Alfonso Soriano had done it 3 times. Ball and 2 strikes to Phillips. Off speed, spoiled it.
There's that 2-strike pitch that I was talking about, away. How he just kind of flicks his bat at it. Keeps his at bat alive for at least one more pitch.
Outside again. Down he goes on strikes. Barajas applies the tag. Couple of strikeouts to end the inning, but the Reds get one more. 6-2 after 2.5. In the first, rushes this 2-run shot to left center, like left field, and 15th home run of the season. 52 RBIs now for Adam Lind off of Bronson Arroyo. It's deja vu all over again for Arroyo. Remember last year? House of horrors for him. Just lasted into the second inning, but settled down a little bit. Has still given up 6 hits and 3 home runs.
Adams has such great oppo power, doesn't he? How he's able to take that ball away from him and muscle it over the fence in left field. That home run keeps him right on the tail of Aaron Hill for the team lead. And he's really picked it up since Cito Gaston took over as the manager, and along with Gene Tennis as his hitting instructor, his numbers have been fantastic.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Adam Lind among the leaders in a lot of offensive categories. And guess what? And it's fair. Down the line. And easily into second base. And the Blue Jays, who lead the majors in doubles, have 3 doubles here tonight.
And another extra base hit for Adam Lind, number 23, the double for him to go along with his 15 home runs. They try to get him out away again. Something off speed, and that one's off the plate, and he just ricochets it down into that left field corner. It looked like it picked up some chalk dust as it hits the left field line. Leadoff double for Adam Lind.
Painted that line. Alex Rios. Grounded to Jerry Hairston in the first. Blue Jays, the man in scoring position again, and leading 6-2.
Boy, with Roland and Lind together hitting 4 and 5, their numbers have been huge the last week. Batting average over 400 now. Between them, 5 home runs and 12 driven in. Since Cito moved Roland up to that number 4 hole. Split up the right-handers Wells and Rios.
It's been the players like Roland and Lind and Aaron Hill who have picked up the slack left over from the guys who were in 3 and 4. That being Rios and Wells, who last year at this time were very hot. Great averages, were hitting for power, had outstanding months of June.
June has always been a great month for Vernon Wells, and based on his first 2 at-bats here tonight against Bronson Arroyo, you get a good feeling that he's going to be taking off. First out of the inning, a productive out from Rios as he rolls the ball to the right side to move Lind over. And now the infield has to come in. Dusty Baker's team cannot give up any more runs.
Lyle Overbay, the comebacker right to Bronson Arroyo in the first. 4 for his last 9. Already won an American League Player of the Week award. 9 home runs, 41 RBIs.
I would not look for anything straight right here from Bronson Arroyo. You've got a base open and a right-hander on deck. If he's going to make a mistake, I bet you he makes it with a breaking ball.
Moan Hernandez had to be sharp there, otherwise that was to the backstop. Sweeping curveball. Again, Arroyo gave up 5 runs in the first inning. 3 home runs to the Blue Jays here tonight. Breaking pitch again, fouled away.
You know, you're so anxious as a hitter. You've got a runner at third base. There's less than 2 outs, and you want that guy to give you something to hit because this is an easy RBI situation. Looking to get that ball into the outfield. But Arroyo's doing the right thing. He's not giving him anything to hit. If he's going to get him out, he's going to get himself out.
Strikes out Lyle Overbay. It's amazing that Bronson Arroyo did not have that mentality in the first inning tonight and a year ago tonight.
Maybe the mentality to maybe knock somebody off the plate in that first inning. Kind of talked about that in the break after the first inning. Good pitch here from Arroyo to pick up his first strikeout in a big situation here with a runner on third. Now the infield can move back.
Catcher Rod Barajas. Strike one. Barajas tops all American League catchers in RBIs. .37 on the season. Good bat for the Blue Jays this year and calls a good game.
Yeah, he has really done a nice job behind the plate. Working with how many different pitchers have we talked about?
Arroyo was really settled down here. Curveball working, starting to fool a lot of the Blue Jays. And that's strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts, the first 2 of the night for Bronson Arroyo. Adam Lynn stranded at third. 6-2 Blue Jays after 3. Alert, alert, alert on your mobile phone. Receive Blue Jay game scores, and it's 6-2 right now. There you are. You know it's 6-2. You're at the game. Live on your mobile phone. Text the word alerts to short code 707070. Standard message rates apply. So we head to the 4th inning. Lance Nix, Johnny Gomes, Jay Bruce. First pitch. A lot of the Reds taking that tact against Scott Richmond. Vernon Wells calls off Marco Scutaro.
There's no doubt that the Reds are an aggressive swinging team, but through the first 2 games here, there have been a ton of first pitch pop-ups. Yesterday there was probably about 7 or 8 already. Today there's 3 or 4 of them. They have not been able to get on top of the Blue Jay pitching staff so far in these 2 games.
2 hits tonight for the Cincinnati Reds. 2 runs. One of those hits from Johnny Gomes, the home run, and we'll see if Scott Richmond. It's a little different strategy this time with Mr. Gomes. Who obviously likes Rogers Center. And Blue Jay pitching. A few years ago with the Tampa Bay Rays. 2-0 pitch. Fouled over the Reds dugout. And a catch made there. Bring your glove. Just bring your glove when you're down there, you know? Bring it. It saves on the wear and tear on the hands.
Yeah.
Or even if you catch a bat like that guy who caught a bat last night.
How about that? Off the 1 bounce.
Watch this. There you go, buddy.
There you go.
You're on TSN and I'm sure probably on YouTube.
You're talking about Johnny Gomes and him hitting here at Rogers Center. I've always liked Gomes. Always felt that he could help a ball club because he can hit for power.
And you're a rotisserie guy, and I know you kind of liked him in your rotisserie thing last few years.
I used to have him.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been an everyday guy for the last couple of years. But that home run that he hit was his 4th in 71 career at-bats here at Rogers Center.
Not this time, though. Down on strikes, Barajas hangs on. 3rd strikeout now for Scott Richmond.
Good sequence of pitching by Richmond. Once he got the 2 strikes, he'll climb the ladder against Johnny Gomes and get him going after it for his 3rd strikeout.
Here was a guy you have to be very careful with, too. Slugger Jay Bruce, young slugger.
But he has had his trouble on the road this year, has Jay Bruce. Look at the batting average on the road this year. Just 165. I think he's going to be a great player. It might take a couple years to get around the league and understand what pitchers try to do to him. He's basically learning on the job for such a young player. But you can just see he's just dripping with talent. He can run, he can throw, he can field, and he's got a lot of power in that bat. 1-2-3 inning for Scott Richmond, his 1st. Maybe he's settling in here.
Duchesne who will go #1 Friday, the NHL entry draft on TSN from Montreal. Welcome back to Rogers Center. 6-2 Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th. Dusty Baker had lunch earlier today, as we learned while we were talking with the Reds manager. Shane Corson's restaurant, downtown Toronto, and had a chance to chat with Shane Corson, the former Leaf, and Hab, of course, an Oiler. And Russ Adams leading off here in the 4th inning. Brandon Phillips, bad bounce there, safe. Took a wild hop, I think, on one of those seams out there.
Yeah, it looked like Brandon Phillips, the Gold Glover, was going to barehand this ball in all-in-one motion. He was going to flip it over to Votto, but right there, it hits and bounces away from him. Then he has to kind of grab it with the glove and then kind of shovel it. It doesn't have anything on it. Kind of flips it over there.
Wow. Looks like he was out.
Yeah, it looked like he still had him.
Well,
tie goes to the runner,
tie goes to the runner, maybe. But anyway, the Blue Jays will take it. Brandon Phillips is always smiling. Doesn't matter. Adams at first. Marco Scutaro up. He's already scored 2 runs, a double and a walk here tonight. I mentioned that hockey story with Shane Corson because Dusty Baker coincidentally had a chat with Corson. Shane Corson dealt with some anxiety issues and stress-related issues while he was playing hockey. And they were talking about Joey Votto as well, and of course what he has gone through over the last little while.
And basically taught and told Dusty Baker about that, and he learned a little bit about Votto's problem.
This time, force out at second base. Baker thought, maybe we'll help him talk with Joey about some of the issues that he's had to deal with. And, it's not easy, boy. I thought he showed a great amount of class and courage. Talking about his issues last night just before the game, and you know what he had to deal with. It's never easy to talk about. Maybe people should talk about it more, and he did.
I was in awe yesterday listening to him talk to the media. About 15 or 20 of us, and he sat there and told us all about it, which took a lot of courage and a lot of heart. And you really cheer for people like that.
You do. Aaron Hill, home run, 2-run shot in the first. Tap back to Arroyo in the second. So you have to deal with something like that, and you've been down that road. You don't understand it. Maybe Votto can bring some clarity to issues like that. Older brother, of course, and his dad dies last year, dealing with the grief, and then also being the guy who was the older brother in the family. And I thought he was very profound in what he said, very articulate. 3 balls and a strike. A nice young man and a fine ball player. Loved playing for Canada. And Ernie Witt at the World Baseball Classic. 3-1. Fouled away.
Had a chance to visit with him before the game. Did you ask him if he was a catcher?
Yeah, he was. Growing up, again, he played with the Etobicoke Rangers in the area, and then high school as well. Played at Richview Collegiate, went there. And doesn't matter. Ball 4. Graduated from the same high school Joey Votto did as Prime Minister of Canada. Not in the same class, quite obviously. Stephen Harper.
Well, Bronson Arroyo has his work cut out for him now, because Vernon Wells' first 2 at-bats against him, he has looked very comfortable. Extra bases both times, a rocket home run, and then a double down the left field line. A couple of runners on for him now.
Vernon Wells, home run in the first, double in the second. And heating up in June, which he normally does.
Jays' offense is starting to heat up. In their last 5 wins, they've averaged about 8 runs a game. They're on that mark again here tonight. 8 hits and 6 runs already as we hit in the 4th.
Hernandez will come out and chat with Arroyo here. Scudero at second. Aaron Hill at first. And action in the bullpen.
That's big Josh Roenicke right there. Big hard throwing righty. Getting loose quickly.
Wells, excellent numbers against Bronson Arroyo. For 30, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Of course, Arroyo, a former member of the Boston Red Sox. Richard makes the play and throws it away. Normally not down there.
Yeah, his first start at third base this year. This has been one of the problems that the Reds have had this year, is fielding the ball consistently. Towards the bottom in the National League in fielding percentage. This had double play written all over it because it was hit so hard, but they really pulled Brandon Phillips off the bag at second base. Phillips with an acrobatic play just to keep that ball in the infield. They miss, Rod, their everyday third baseman, Edwin Encarnacion, has been on the disabled list the whole season.
Cleanup guy. This is why you put those guys in the number 4 hole. You hope they come up with bases loaded, and that's where Scott Rowland is now. But Edwin Encarnacion, again, injury problems for him, and Adam Rosales was there last night. Richard the air. Vernon Wells reaches on a fielder's choice. Bases full, 1 away.
I think you have the right guy in the right situation right here against the right pitcher.
Hairston, can they turn 2 this time? No, they don't, and a run scores.
They have not been able to turn a clean double play here in this whole series. This is tailor-made. And watch where the ball is. Again, down. Not a good chance for Brandon Phillips to turn it. Can't get anything on it. And short hops the throw to first base. You can see how disgusted Brandon Phillips is. He knows they should have turned that.
That earlier error by Richard contributes to that run scoring. Scudero has scored 3 times here tonight. 5-run Blue Jay lead. Adam Lind with runners at the corners and 2 out.
Boy, this is where you can really make the lack of turning that double play hurt right here. They should be out of the inning, and they should be hitting with no runs across the board, and now they've got to face the RBI leader with a couple of runners on.
Staying away from him. 3 balls, no strikes if he loses him. Alex Rios is next. And Arroyo went outside last time. Lind deposited it down the line, the left field line. And he loses him. And so, again, the bases will be full. And this time, Alex Rios. But that will not come against Bronson Arroyo. He's done for the night. And I'm sure Bronson Arroyo cannot wait to see Rogers Center and Toronto in his rearview mirror. Pitching change coming. Alex Rios coming to the plate with bases full and the Blue Jays leading 7-2. We'll be back.
Dusty Baker reaches down into the bullpen, and the man he pulls out is big Josh Roenicke, 6'3", 194 pounds. He's got a fantastic arm. He throws hard. He took over and took the roster spot when Mike Lincoln, another right-handed reliever, went on the disabled list for the Reds. And look at those numbers when he was down in Louisville, the AAA affiliate of the Reds. 26 strikeouts, just 3 base on balls. In fact, he earned a save in each of his last 7 appearances for Louisville. He's got good baseball bloodlines. His father, Gary, played in the big leagues. Also, his uncle, Ron Roenicke, played in the big leagues. And they feel in Cincinnati that maybe someday Josh Roenicke, with that good arm, could end up being the closer once Coco Cordero leaves. First batter he will face will be Alex Rios. Rios is 0 for 2 tonight.
Tough spot to come in. Base is full, and Hernandez again comes out to chat. Josh Roenicke, the former UCLA Bruin. Rios goes fishing. Again, Josh's younger brother Jason is in the Toronto Blue Jay organization. The Lansing Lugnuts and A-ball.
Baseball family.
Also played football at one time with the UCLA Bruins. Trying to get out of this jam. 2 strikes to Rios. Isn't that interesting? Some guys go their whole career without a grand slam. Fly ball down the line, coming across and making the catch is Lance Nix. And a beauty. Rios is out. Foul territory. Diving. And ending the inning. The line on Bronson Arroyo, 3 2/3, 8 hits, 6 of them earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 93 pitches. But again, a nightmarish first inning. 5 runs, 3 of them out of the yard. Something about this place.
Yeah, he has not had a whole lot of success against the Blue Jays. 4 in a row he had lost to him coming into this game, and he's on the hook for another one.
Ramon Hernandez and Danny Richard, followed by Chris Dickerson here in the top of the 5th. Scott Rowland says he's got it. Marco Scutero behind him. First Marco was calling for it. That was like get Marco Polo there.
He has pop-up priority, the shortstop, so he calls off Scott Rowland, but Rowland a little bit taller than Marco Scutero, reaches up with those long arms to haul in that pop-up.
So now the guy who contributed to that run in the last inning, that error, throw over to Brandon Phillips. Aaron Hill turns. Does he make it? Yes, he does. What a play. The backhand and the swivel by Aaron Hill.
Well, look at the quick feet, and then he reaches out and catches it on an in-between hop, but then's got enough, bounces it, and it helps that overbay. That ball is off the turf part because you know you're going to get a true hop. Great play right there by Aaron Hill.
Getting used to that around here. Didn't see much of it last season after Aaron Hill was out of the lineup and they missed him in Toronto.
Well, that's one thing that they have played this year. They've played very consistent defense. Aaron Hill, second in the American League for second basemen for total chances and assists. Covers a lot of ground in the middle of that diamond. Just snuffs up a lot of balls and helps those pitchers. Look at this. Since May the 22nd, the Blue Jays have only committed 5 errors, the fewest in all of baseball. That's certainly going to help your pitcher. Gives them the confidence to just get out there and just throw strikes, knowing that that infield is going to help you out.
And Aaron Hill with a much easier play. Gets the speedy Chris Dickerson. 1-2-3 again. Scott Richmond is retired 8 straight. 7-2 Blue Jays.
come back down on the field. For $5, every ticket sold goes to Make-A-Wish section that will be donated back to Make-A-Wish Toronto in Central Ontario. For more information, call 416-341-1565 or log on to bluejays.com/community.
Anything better than that, making dreams come true. Wednesday wish night. Wednesday wishes. Lyle Overbay, Rod Barajas, Russ Adams. So it's something when the kids get a chance to come down, see batting practice, especially those who be fighting an illness.
I know my kids, they're 10 years old, they're twins. I got to bring them on the field last year, and they are still talking about it. How they got to see A.J. Burnett, they got to see Alex Rios, they got to see the players up close and personal as that ball is ripped. And a great play by Bruce to hold Lyle Overbay to just single.
Because that's Overbay land over there. That's where he hits those. And Bruce
into the gaps. Good hustle by the young right fielder of the Cincinnati Reds. Low fastball. That is Lyle Overbay's zone right there, and he rips it. Check out this play by Bruce. All out.
Any other night, that's a double. And because he dove like that, you know, a lot of guys might catch and have to turn around and spin to throw.
I think if it's a right-handed throwing right fielder where the glove is on the left hand and he's got to go across the body, that ball's by him.
So Jay Bruce saves a base. See what happens now with Rod Barajas and Russ Adams to follow. The Blue Jays with a healthy lead here like they had last night, though. Remember, the Reds fought back from a 6-0 deficit. 5-run deficit right now. Josh Roenicke in relief of Bronson Arroyo. Went to UCLA as a wide receiver. Played football for 2 seasons. Barajas. Crack bat. Nix. There. But for 2 seasons did not catch a pass. When you're a wide receiver and you don't catch a pass, maybe you make a career choice.
In the Pac-10, he didn't catch a pass. Don't they throw about every other down? He's got a great arm. And you know he's got a good idea on that mound how to get big league hitters out.
Russ Adams getting the call up again with the Blue Jays. Added 319, 24 games with AAA Las Vegas. We've always known that Russ Adams has a good bat. Can hit for power.
He'll surprise you with his power.
Numbers game through the years, though. Injury problems and a lack of consistency at times cost Russ Adams a job being an everyday ball player in the majors, because he was.
But some of the reporters, we asked Cito Gaston today in his media scrum, does Russ Adams stay in the big leagues now, make a name for himself, being one of those super utility type of guys? And Cito's response was, he certainly has the ability to do that. He can play third, short, second, and at the outfield positions. He can run a little bit. And when he's swinging well, he can hit. He's got a little bit of pop in that bat. So he can help a club by being very versatile.
3 balls and a strike. Been a yo-yo the last few years. Up and down he has gone. Back and forth to Syracuse. Of course, the AAA team moving this year to Las Vegas. Cito Gaston said he should have been with the club on the way north for opening day. Thought he had an excellent spring. 3 balls, 1 strike. Roenicke walks him. Top of the order again, and Marco Scutaro has crossed home plate 3 times already tonight.
Yeah, looking at his 4th at bat in the 5th inning. Jays have got to cash some of these runners in to make it a laugher here tonight. They've already left 5 guys on the last 3 innings. A couple more out there now for Scutaro.
Scutaro's approach at the plate from opening day has not wavered. Lyle Overbay at second. Russ Adams at first. Scutaro, a walk, a double. Reached on a fielder's choice. Scored 3 times.
Good eye there. Nothing you can do with that pitch. The thing that impresses me a lot with Marco Scutaro is his on-base plus slugging percentage, which is like the new number that everybody likes to use coming into this series. .831, which is the highest on-base plus slugging of any shortstop in the American League. So they're getting great defense from their shortstop, and they're getting great offense.
Phillips makes the tag and makes the out at first to Votto. 4-3 double play. 5 done, 7-2 Jays. (7-2) Blue Jays. Last night winning 7-5 in the opener of this series with the Cincinnati Reds. Jays trying to make it 3 wins in a row. Currently 6 games over 500. Jerry Hairston Jr., the number 2 hitter for the Reds. Scott Richmond. That was pitch number 84 on the night. He's only given up 2 hits and 2 runs. I'm on the inside of the bat. The handle, and it's out number 1. Joey Votto, his 3rd at bat against his former teammate from Team Canada, Scott Richmond.
No, I try to treat, whether or not I know a pitcher, I try to treat them as faceless. I just just treat as competition, friendly or not. We have to go out there and do our job, and part of our job is doing our very best. And whether or not he's my worst enemy or best friend, I'm going to treat it the exact same way. So, Scott might be Canadian, but tonight he's a Blue Jay.
Well, so far, Scott Richmond has walked Joey Votto and struck him out. So they're tied. Drill to center field. Wells right there.
How about that last line? I love it.
Oh, yeah.
He might be Canadian, but tonight he's a Blue Jay, so he's the enemy.
This kid has a great head on his shoulders, and he's had some anxiety and stress-related problems, but great quote. And through the years, well-grounded. We wish him the best, and his battle's off the field too. 2 away. Brandon Phillips. Strikeout and a pop out. Like the way this guy plays.
Plays the game the right way. Plays it with passion. He has fun. Got loads of talent. Don't know why the Cleveland Indians gave up on him, though, so quickly. They made the big trade for him when they traded Bartolo Colon to the Montreal Expos. I know he was out of options, but speaking of options, they didn't have a better option than Brandon Phillips.
Turned 28 in 4 days. Born in Raleigh, North Carolina. Stone Mountain, Georgia. Last year became a Gold Glover for the first time.
He's led the National League the last couple of years in fielding percentage, and they finally recognized him that he was the best with that Gold Glove last year.
Speaking of Gold Glovers, Scott Rowland, he's got 7 of them. Another 1, 2, 3. 11 in a row for Scott Richmond.
Game is July the 14th in St. Louis. Vote for your favorite Blue Jay player. That might be Marco Scutaro, Alex Rios, Aaron Hill, or Scott Rowland. Cast your vote at BlueJays.com. Fans are allowed to vote a maximum of 25 times per email address. Voting ends Thursday, July 2nd. So get out there and start punching those keyboards.
Good at that. You played in an All-Star game.
Yeah.
Here again.
What an honor.
What an honor, huh?
What an honor. And I know it will be an honor for this guy right here, Aaron Hill, who is having a fantastic first half of the season. 16 home runs now, That home run in the first inning, 50 driven in. Numbers-wise, for second baseman in the American League, only Ian Kinsler of the Texas Rangers has better numbers. So get out there and start voting for Aaron Hill.
Aaron Hill homered in the first. I like the internet voting because all the fans, get a chance. I just sometimes think, the most populous places get a chance to really load up. Call me old school. I like the tickets that get punched by the fans who go to the ballparks, but there are a lot of people who don't get a chance to go to the ballparks.
But isn't there different ways now that they're going to elect the starters and the reserves? Mm-hmm. They've got the fan voting here at the ballpark. They've got the voting over the internet like we were just talking about. And I believe in another week the players, there's a strikeout, the players and the coaches around the league will be able to vote who they think deserve to be in the All-Star game, and that carries some weight.
And the All-Star game carries weight as you see Aaron Hill. Watch this one sail past Josh Roenicke. All-Star game carries a lot of weight. Home field advantage in the World Series. Vernon Wells. Bud Selig's idea to create some importance in the Midsummer Classic. Some people agree with it, some don't.
I'm one of them who does not agree that an exhibition game in the middle of the summer will determine or help determine the World Series champion.
I'm in your court.
If you want to make the All-Star game worth something, why not, if you win, you get to host the next year, or you get to be the home team.
Vernon Wells, jackknife. How about this? All the players have to throw their own money in. And it's like poker. You win the other guy's money.
Winner take all?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a solution. Was there anything wrong with the old way it used to be? I mean, it's still an exhibition.
It's an exhibition. I guess if you don't want to run out of players, bring more players.
Think about how that home field advantage plays out. And has played out in some World Series since they instituted it. 3 balls and a strike. 1 out. Vernon has a home run and a double, has reached on a fielder's choice. And now he has a walk.
That's pitching coach Dick Pohl for the Cincinnati Reds, getting on that horn. Roenicke is not really stretched out. We talked about him being a closer down in AAA, so he hasn't really pitched multiple innings a lot this year. He came in with 2 outs back in the 4th inning. Finished off that inning, had a good inning last inning, and now working on his second full inning here.
Nine Blue Jay hits tonight. Roland had 1 of them, extended his hit streak to 13 games back in the 1st inning. Ramon Hernandez, we talked about Rod Barajas working behind the plate. Ramon Hernandez has had to work with some prolific pitchers over the last few years. He's worked with some of the best. Hairston has to hurry, does. There's out number 2 with Wells advancing to second base. Terry Hairston, another one of those guys who can play, as we talked about earlier, all over the place. And Alex Gonzalez, all of last year, was their everyday shortstop, so they've had to fill that void.
Just went under the knife. Kind of an injury that came out of nowhere. His elbow. Saw the doctor today down on the field to perform the surgery, Dr. Tim Kremchek. They'll be out about 4 to 6 weeks. Gonzalez, keep an eye on Vernon Wells at second base. Stole third last night.
Adam Lind, Votto, scoop to Roenicke, and Vernon Wells is stranded. We've played 6 innings. The Blue Jays have a 7-2 lead at Rogers Center tonight in TSN High D. The hot spots you've got to go to, the CN Tower. Go way up there. Have lunch or dinner up there and then look down on the ball game. Tonight here at Rogers Center with the lid rolled back. Temperature's gone down a little bit.
If you want to go up there, pick a clear day.
Yeah, I've gone up there when it's sitting on a cloud. Scott Richmond into the 7th inning. Has only given up 2 Cincinnati Red hits. Lance Nix leads off. And by all means also come down to the ballpark. Rogers Center. New York Yankees in action tonight in Atlanta. 4-1, the Yankees leading. They are in the top of the 7th. Nick Swisher has his 13th home run of the season. Boston leads Washington 6-3. Jason Varitek a home run, and a big poppy again. David Ortiz. Blue Jays look like they need this one to stay 5 back and tied with the Yankees.
Heading into the meat of their schedule, I think. We got Tampa Bay coming up starting next week. And then a trip to New York to face the Yankees. 4 big games over the July 4th week. So just stay right there. Kind of, as they used to say, laying in the weeds right there.
Foul ball. What has been a reason for the Blue Jay June swoon in years past has also been interleague play. And the lack of success, although the rest of the American League usually beats up on the National League traditionally over the last few seasons. Blue Jays have struggled against National League opponents. Driven to the gap, Vernon Wells tracking. He's had some real good reads on fly balls and line drives tonight, Vernon Wells has. Here's a look.
You were talking about interleague this season. A little bit closer than what we have seen in the past, American League versus the National League. Better earned run average. How about the American League out-homering the National League by 49?
Johnny Gomes, one of the 2 hits for Cincinnati tonight. Right back to Scott Richmond, who's owned him the last 2 at-bats. Gomes had a home run earlier. And there's 2 away.
How good has Scott Richmond been since the 3rd inning? I was watching his pitch count through the first 3 innings when he gave up a couple of runs on just 2 hits. But his pitch count, he was up over 65 through the first 3 innings. 4th, 5th, 6th. He's retired 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 in a row. And this next pitch will be number 100. So much more economical. Throwing strikes, and it helps with a 5-run lead.
Boy, it helps that bullpen phone.
Ooh.
I noticed earlier today when I came to the ballpark, they had technicians working on the phone down there.
Burning the lines up.
It's been getting a lot of work. This is exactly what Cito Gaston, the Blue Jays, could ask for tonight. But keep in mind, the Cincinnati Red team battled back last night, made a game of it. 1 strike to Jay Bruce. Again, Richmond was forced into a relief role over the weekend in Washington. Coming off a terrific start against Philadelphia. Struck out 11.
And that curveball working, and I think this is a great spot for it right here. 2-2. Throw that yellow hammer. He's got 3 strikeouts already tonight.
Ground ball. 14 in a row retired by Scott Richmond. Stretch time at Rogers Center. What a night again for Richmond and the Blue Jays. With a 5-run lead. Time he was pounded. Aaron Hill, Vernon Wells, and Adam Lind the other way. Bronson Arroyo. A lot of people might love Toronto. Bronson Arroyo does not.
Yeah, he's not having any fun here. When the dust settled after the first 5 batters had reached base, 3 of them via the home run, 5 runs scored. And then they have turned the ball over to Scott Richmond, and what a job he has done, giving up just 2 hits and those 2 runs. Brad Arnsberg comes down with a little shake of the hand. Great job so far by Richmond. Dusty Baker goes to the bullpen for the second time, and out comes Carlos Fisher. We saw him in last night's game.
Alex Rios leading off. Rios, a couple of ground outs and a fly out to left field.
Fisher right over the top with that fastball and a good little curveball. He has shut out the opponent in 6 of his last 10 appearances.
Rios had a fly out with bases full in the 4th. Blue Jays have had enough insurance for Scott Richmond. See if he can pick up the W here tonight. They can hang on. Fouled away. Down he goes on strikes. Certainly has been a different Alex Rios this season at the plate. Trying everything he can to just get in a consistent groove.
Yeah, the Reds keep dishing him breaking balls, and he keeps swinging. Watch his head pull out of there. Just cannot clear his front side and stay over that breaking ball. Rios 0 for 4 now.
Lyle Overbay rolls one over to Brandon Phillips. Well, Fast Facts brought to you by Rogers High-Speed Internet, the fastest and most reliable, period. Blue Jays have outscored the Reds 62-26 over their first 8 interleague meetings.
There was 3 games in Cincinnati a few years ago, then the 3 here, and the 2 so far this season, the 3 last year. Scored a ton of runs, 14 in that first game a year ago today.
Rod Barajas. Baseball is such a numbers game. Sabermetricians will tell you that, and the people who follow the numbers, but there are a lot of coincidences in baseball too, and strange occurrences. I think tonight would have to rank right up there with it, don't you?
Yeah, you can connect the dots.
Connect the dots
with all the numbers in baseball. We talked about it, about Bronson Arroyo and how he's been here at the Rogers Center, and in the first inning, bam, 5 big runs.
Rod Barajas. Lance Nix. 1-2-3 for Carlos Fisher. We head to the 8th inning. The Blue Jays lead 7-2.
He follows up, I think, his best start in his last start when he struck out 11, going 8 innings against Philadelphia. Follows it up with a solid outing here. 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, a couple of walks, and 3 strikeouts. 104 pitches. What Richmond did from the 4th inning on, just fantastic, retiring 14 in a row. He will give way to Dirk Hayhurst. Comes in for the 7th time this year. Hayhurst last pitched 5 days ago down in Washington, just a third of an inning, and gave up a couple of hits, a walk, and a strikeout. Before that, though, he had worked 5 2/3 scoreless innings. Comes out of that bullpen for Cito Gaston, throwing strikes.
Ramon Hernandez, the catcher. Danny Richard on deck, and then Chris Dickerson, top of the order, coming up. Jays trying to get win number 6 for Scott Richmond. And another one of those guys who has stepped up when needed. Mr. Richmond has. I think he is like one of those many players that we've seen come and go in baseball who lives by the tale that anything is possible.
Well, his story is just magnificent. And he got off to such a great start this year. 3-0 in the month of March and April. Rookie pitcher of the year, or pitcher of the month, for the month of April. Seems to be back on track.
Not a good start for Hayhurst from the bullpen. Hernandez is walked. Cito Gaston referred to Scott Richmond as a kid. I guess we all kind of do when, you know, a guy's young into the game, but he's not a kid, really. He's going to be 30 in late August. He's been around. He's worked the dock yards. Played in the lowest form of minor league baseball possible. Has had a meteoric rise in 2 years.
You look at the Blue Jays starting rotation. 4 left-handers, 4 rookies. Scott Richmond is still considered a rookie. And here they are looking at win number 40 this year.
Hayhurst is a perfect example. Give him a chance, see what happens. And the guy who's pitching tomorrow, we'll see the kind of stuff he's made of. Coming back again after, you know, having some failures as well and having to learn from his experience. Brett Cecil. 2 strikes to Richard. Golfed foul. We're back tomorrow night.
Johnny Cueto, look at that earned run average, about 2.5. 6-4. Brett Cecil. You have to see him again. That game starts at 7 o'clock. I'm anxious to watch Cecil. I've just seen him on the television. I haven't had a chance to watch him up close. Had a long talk today with Brad Arnsberg about him and Mills, the other left-hander that they have, doing some time in the bullpen about him, and says, hey, they're both kids who come up here. They are fearless. They'll throw strikes. They will battle you. So I'm anxious to watch Cecil up close and personal tomorrow.
Now a ball and 2 strikes to Richard. And again, and on first. Nobody out. Atlanta now within a run of the Yankees, 4-3, batting in the 7th. Washington has scored in the 7th, trailing Boston 6-4. (7-2) here in Toronto. 7-inning two-hitter. Twirled by Scott Richmond. Dirk Hayhurst in relief. And up the middle for a base hit. Now 2 on, nobody out. You might see that bullpen start to stir again.
Yeah, this is kind of looking like last night's ball game when the Blue Jays were up 6-0. There's Cito getting on that phone. Sean Camp came in, gave up a hit, a couple of walks, and before you knew it, they had the bases loaded, nobody out. They went to the pen. Bruce hit a double, 2-run score. And just like that, it became a 2-run game.
And now Chris Dickerson, top of the order. Walked to scored a run tonight. He is the cousin of Football Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson. ED comes by it naturally. This Blue Jay bullpen has not been bulletproof lately, and all of the injuries that have happened to the rotation have really created a bit of a void in some spots in the bullpen. Guys have to shuffle in and shuffle out.
That's the biggest thing. I think guys have shuffled in different spots. Cito Gaston was asked before tonight's game, 1-run lead, you head into the 9th inning. Who is your closer tonight? Good pitch there. Said Jason Frazier. So now everybody has to kind of move up the pecking order.
Guys have had a few closers this season. And over the last couple of seasons, really only had to deal with one. It's B.J. Ryan until he got hurt. Oh, good pitch. Good pitch. Gets Dickerson swinging. Settles here.
Comes at a big time right now. First 2 batters, the bottom of the order, get on. You turn the lineup over, and you end up making a good pitch to get the strikeout. Now you're just 1 pitch away from getting out of it. If you're wondering about Jeremy Accardo, Cito told us before the game he is not available tonight, so there's another arm who's had a save this year as a closer for the Blue Jays.
Jerry Hairston, 7 home runs this year. There's Jeremy. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Spectator tonight.
Got a groin problem. And Cito said he is not available. That's Sean Camp, who has been over and picked up a drink, getting himself loose.
Here's the danger now, too. With just 1 away, with walked Hernandez, Richard reaches on a base hit. Should Hairston get on and load up the sacks, guess who looms and guess who is due? The local, Joey Votto. Struck out Dickerson. A great breaking pitch. 1-2. What does he bring to Hairston? Count is even 2-2. Fouled away.
That was the pitch right there. Dougie's trying to throw that little slider on the outside part of the plate, mess up the timing a little bit to Jerry Hairston and see if he can kind of roll over that ball and get it on the ground. Good location here, and Hairston just barely gets a piece of it.
Oh, what a play by Scott Rowland. Put it on the highlight reel. Man.
All 6'4" of Scott Rowland climbing the ladder, taking away a hit just in the webbing of that glove. We talked about it earlier, how the Blue Jays have played fantastic defense, the one constant that they have done all season long. Jerry Hairston can't believe that Rowland takes away a hit from him.
Huge play by the 7-time Gold Glover. Got some hops still.
The ex-basketball player,
oh, yeah.
Sure.
That's why he won 7 Gold Gloves. And now Votto, who with one swing could still make it a 2-run ball game. Two for 17 against the Blue Jays in Toronto. I would imagine that Hayhurst is going to stay away from the wheelhouse here. Always easier said than done, though.
You know, an interesting defensive alignment. The infield really plays Joey Votto to pull the ball, but the outfield is playing him the other way. Look at Vernon Wells in center field, shading him to left center. The spray charts and the hitting charts that the Blue Jays have on Joey Votto say that when he gets out in front, he gets it on the ground. If it's in the air, it's the other way. He has been a producer. Here's 3 of the best. 32 home runs, 117 RBIs since opening day of last year. Pretty good numbers for those sluggers.
The 2-1 down low. Votto with huge numbers as a rookie last year. In fact, the Reds had 3 rookies on the Rookie of the Year ballot. Three balls, 1 strike. Marco Scutaro will make the throw to first. And that's it. Thanks to a Golden Glove, Scott Rowland. What a beauty. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Display next week. Regular season begins a week from tonight. We have a season preview show for you. Canadian Football League Sunday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific time. It all begins Canada Day, a doubleheader. Hard to believe football season's here.
Did that say July 1st?
July 1st is the football season.
Wow.
Sunday's the preview show. Can't wait. It seems like yesterday the Calgary Stampeders won the Grey Cup. Here we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. How about the defense from Scott Rowland here tonight? And Carlos Fisher stays in the ball game. Russ Adams will lead off. Blue Jays lead 7-2.
This is last night's ball game. You want to talk about defense. Rowland with a bare hand to get Brandon Phillips over at first base. Saw a great play by Aaron Hill earlier, and then this one last inning, just at the top of his leap, takes away extra bases and some RBIs for Jerry Hairston.
It's amazing that not many people are talking about that chronic shoulder of his lately, the way it's been going. And it's the left shoulder. It's the catching hand for him. He doesn't have any problem throwing the ball.
Well, he certainly doesn't have any problem throwing. Everything is right there.
Nor hitting this year. I mean, again, he's been one of the guys who has really picked up the slack left in the heart of the order. That's why he's batting cleanup now. 1-1. 2 balls and a strike to Adams. Vernon Wells starting to heat up. Home run tonight, a double. And Adams has another base hit here tonight.
A multi-hit effort for Russ Adams. He got an infield single back in the 4th, throwing a walk, and he's been on base 3 times.
Blue Jays scored 5 times in the first inning, added 1 in the second and another in the 4th. This to go along with the defense of Rowland and the great pitching again from Scott Richmond. Marco Scutero, first pitch hacking. Dickerson with out number 1. Once again, the Blue Jays chase Bronson Arroyo off this mound here in Toronto. Now Aaron Hill, who after a scooter or walk in the first, pasted one to left field. 16th home run of the season, 2 runs, swat. Russ Adams easily trots down after that wild pitch by Fisher.
Seen that a few times here tonight. I believe that's the 3rd wild pitch we've seen.
Adams in scoring position. Fisher watches Adams at second. Comes home and can't paint the outside corner.
Aaron Hill is so disciplined at the plate. You never see him give away at bats. I mean, he is grinding every time he steps into that batter's box. Here's another one.
Another base hit. Dickerson comes home and Adams scores 8-2.
Well, the Reds cashed in on a wild pitch the last time they scored, back in the 3rd inning. A wild pitch pays dividends as Hill picks up his 51st RBI. Again, he doesn't give away at bat. He is out there just grinding. On a hanging breaking ball from Fisher. Wrapped right back through the middle for an RBI single.
Vernon Wells, who followed that Aaron Hill home run in the first with one of his own. Also had a double, has a couple of RBIs here tonight. Confidence grows for the Blue Jays. What is he, $18 million, $20 million man?
Watching him in the last couple of nights, there's just something about his swing that looks like it's coming back on track.
Times over the last month when he was struggling to be a little fidgety up there.
Unsure of himself, swinging at pitches out of the strike zone.
That time misses on the strike three. Still a good night for Vernon Wells.
The first time they retired him.
And here comes Scott Rowland. 13-game hit streak. Carry that into tomorrow.
And he loves interleague. Look at the numbers for Rowland. The highest average of any player in baseball in this interleague stuff. 410.
Again, one of the advantages I would imagine for Rowland, unlike some of those guys on that list, is he's faced National League pitching before. But guess what? You still have to hit it.
Yeah.
You know?
Still got to find holes.
Yeah. And boy, he has been rolling lately.
Hitting the ball with more authority, I think, from gap to gap. Staying in the middle of the diamond.
Yankees have now added a couple more in the 8th inning. Lead Atlanta 6-3 in Georgia. Boston still leading Washington 6-4. That's in the 8th. In the American capital. Good count for Rowland here. Can't capitalize though.
Rowland's a lot like Aaron Hill, or Aaron Hill's a lot like Rowland. Another guy who just doesn't give away at bats. I don't care what the score is, what the inning is. He is out there battling on every pitch. Sometimes you'll see guys in 8-2 games late like this just kind of go up there and flail at the first pitch and make it out. And big deal, I've already got a couple of hits. Not Rowland.
Takes a walk. Sure, you're one of those guys, and you've been around the game for your entire life and played on a world championship team. You kind of believe in mentoring within a team, and Blue Jays in many ways have some really good mentors. Roy Halladay, obviously, for the pitchers.
Right.
Rod Barajas obviously has been around, but Scott Rowland for a young guy like an Aaron Hill.
All you have to do is just look over at the diamond, the way he plays the game, the way he prepares every day, gets his ground balls in, has a purpose when he's taking batting practice, is ready to play when Cito puts his name in that lineup.
Adam Lind is at a home run and a double here tonight. Also a walk, 2 for 3 night. Brings his average up to 310. 15 home runs on the season. Jays trying to add a couple more and then put it away in the ninth. Due up for the Reds, Brandon Phillips, Lance Nix, and Johnny Gomes. Lynn off the handle, and that's it. The Blue Jays had one more. Thanks again to Aaron Hill, the RBI single. Head to the ninth. Blue Jays. Below the CN Tower in downtown Toronto. Blue Jays 3 outs away from their 3rd win in a row and their 6th win in their last 8. Brandon Phillips leading off for the Cincinnati Reds, who got behind the 8 ball. I guess we could call it the 5 ball early. 5 runs given up in the first inning, 3 home runs. Dirk Hayhurst stays in here.
You know, that's 2 nights in a row that the Reds have found themselves down by a big margin. 5 tonight, 6 last night. And their game is built on speed, hitting and running, bunting, sacrificing, moving runners along, being aggressive on the bases. When you find yourself down by that many runs, that type of offense, manufacturing runs that way, pretty much you have to take it out and you've got to kind of hit your way on and get yourself back into it that way. We haven't seen the real Reds offense, what they can do when they play with a lead and they play a little bit more aggressive baseball. A lot of team speed on Cincinnati.
Disconsolate group over there. A loss tonight for the Reds drops them 2 games under 500. They're actually closer to the lead in the NL Central than the Blue Jays are in the AL East, but that is life in the NL Central.
Very winnable division for all 6 of those teams.
Ask Scott Rowland when he was with the St. Louis Cardinals a couple of years ago. Hardly a team that you would have thought would have won the World Series at the time, but indeed they got in. Just get in, and you never know. 3-1 pitch. High fly ball. Adam Lind with the first out here in the 9th.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership.
1 down here in the 9th. Lance Nix. Then Johnny Gomes. Marco Scutaro on a couple hops. No problem. And a reminder, we are back tomorrow night with 3rd game of this series. It'll be very interesting to see what Brett Cecil can do tomorrow night. The Blue Jays, you have to say, have gotten more than they could have ever imagined the last few nights from their starters. Brian Talent, Scott Richmond. And the best news of all is Roy Halladay is on the horizon. Looks like he might go on Monday here in Toronto.
Yeah, if all goes well on Friday on his throwing session.
Johnny Gomes, one of 2 hits off of Scott Richmond earlier, a solo home run in the 2nd inning. Terrific night for Richmond. Not so much for the Cincinnati Reds. Whoa. 2 balls and a strike.
Tough to take that pitch when you're down 8-2. But it's just under the knee.
Watch those hands work on Gomes. That stance. 3 balls and a strike now. Massage the handle. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 2 out.
Gomes was running the steps yesterday before the game. They asked him about that. He said, "Hey, I'm just getting my Rocky on up here in Baseball North."
Oh, yeah.
Hitting before the game, running up and down the steps here.
Yeah.
It paid off his first time up with a home run. Hayhurst is looking to end it right here with a 3-2 pitch.
Couple of tugs on that helmet. Here it is. Driven into the gap. Lind on the backhand, and Gomes has first base. 2 for 4 night for Johnny Gomes.
He doesn't want to go home.
Jay Bruce, 17 home runs. But tonight, an 0 for 3 night. They will just give Johnny Gomes second base. Blue Jay fans just want this thing to be over right here. Get it done with. Give the Reds any extra licks, any extra runs. Raha smothers that one in the dirt. Still 6-3 Yankees leading the Braves in the 8th. 6-4 now in the 9th. Red Sox. So Blue Jays need this. Remain 5 back of division leading Boston. Up the middle. Scutero to first. What a complete night for the Toronto Blue Jays in so many ways.
They got
power, pitching.
Great pitching. You talked about the power, but the defense, too, came through in big time here tonight.